Okay. So good morning, all. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Oh, okay. So we'll start for today's lecture. Uh, in the last lecture, uh, we have seen the SCR characteristics, right? So today, whatever remaining part of that we have to learn. Uh, So we will start with the previous what we have seen in a last lecture in short, and then uh, we will uh, see the next one. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have seen the construction of SCR. Okay, and the working of SCR as well as the VI characteristics of SCR. So I'll just repeat the the topics we have covered in the last lecture within a 5 minutes, and then we will start the next one till the students will join the meeting. Okay, so this SCR, it consists of 4 PN layer. So first P layer, that is a heavily doped, second N and P or middle NP layer, which are normally lightly doped, and last N layer is also a heavily doped. Okay, so that already we have discussed in the last lecture. The symbol, this device is a unidirectional device, so current can flow through only anode to cathode, and that current through the anode to cathode is controlled by the terminal called as a gate. That is the third terminal. Okay, so uh, the working of SCR that we have seen in the last lecture. So working in which, if you are connecting the VCC between anode and cathode, and if the gate is open, that time the junction J1 and J3 becomes a forward bias, and junction J2 is a reverse bias, right? If the battery voltage get reversed, that is anode connected with a negative of battery with respect to cathode, then again the device is in off state if gate is open. But this time the junction J1 and junction J3 both are called as a reverse bias, and junction J2 is a forward bias. So this is already we covered in last lecture. Then working with a gate voltage. If suppose we are applying gate current or gate voltage, some say 1 volt or 2 volt. So what happens because of this gate voltage, the holes get added into the P region. Okay, and if the VCC is increased, junction J1 and J3 is already forward bias with the voltage called VCC, because anode is connected to the positive with respect to cathode. So junction J1 and J3 is already forward bias. But as soon as you increase the voltage, gate voltage, the junction J2 also become a narrower. The junction at J or depletion region at junction J2 becomes a narrower, and at a particular value of a gate current, that junction breaks and junction J2 also become a forward bias, and then a large amount of current flow through the device, right? So as we discussed in the last lecture, uh, the SCR requires a gate current to turn on the SCR, right? So without gate current, your device maybe turns on, but it required a very large amount of VCC, and sometimes because of overheating, that device may damage. So without gate current, uh, normally we not try to turn on the SCR. That is basically called false triggering, but it can be turned on without gate, but it requires very large voltage. Okay, so VI characteristics that we have seen in the last lecture. This VI characteristics, basically, I'll show you this one. So it has some, maybe you can say all regions. So this region, first one, just see the first quadrant. So in first quadrant, I will see as you increase the VAK, the voltage across anode to cathode, then what happens? The voltage increases, but the current is very small. That is called forward leakage current, right? Again, due to the minority charge carriers. So still, you can say ideally device is in off state, right? As soon as you increase the voltage up to VBO, forward breakover voltage, then then your device turns on. As soon as your device turns on, see up to the VBO, the voltage across SCR, that is called VAK, is equal to large or maybe a high voltage, right? But as soon as your device turns on, if you see this curve directly goes to the lower value, that is a very small voltage and which is equal to 1 volt. Okay, so or less than 1 volt, that is called as a on state voltage drop, right? Forward voltage drop, that is shown here. Forward voltage drop, that is conducting, right? So this is a first one. Two term called holding current and latching currents are also shown here. Then if you increase the gate current, see the dotted line again in the first quadrant. So this dotted line shows that as you increase the gate current, the required voltage to turn on the SCR is lower. So again, see this one, that's the third diagram. So this will show you the clear picture. VBO, that is first one when Ig equal to 0. This shows that SCR turns on without gate current, but it required a very large voltage, that is called as a forward breakover voltage. Okay. Then if you increase the gate current, the turn on voltage is equal to V1, which is always less than VBO. So SCR may turn on at lower voltage. If you further increase the gate current Ig, this is Ig2, that is shown here. Ig3 is greater than Ig2, Ig2 is greater than Ig1, and so on. So what happens? The required voltage to turn on the SCR is again decreases. That is called V2. So V2 is shown here, right? If you further increase the gate current, the required turn on voltage of SCR, that is a V3, which is again less than V2. So from this particular figure, you can observe that the V1 is greater than V2, V2 is greater than V3, right? So V3, your voltage, as you increases the voltage, current, Ig3, Ig3 is greater than Ig2, Ig2 greater than Ig1, and so on. So required voltage to turn on the SCR is V3 for Ig3, V2 for Ig2, and V1 for Ig1. See, V1 is higher voltage than V2, but that time the gate current is lower. V2 is a lower voltage, that time gate current increases. Then V3 is again lower voltage, that time gate current increases. So gate current increases, so required voltage to turn on the device decreases. That is shown with the help of this particular graph. Second one, if you see the third quadrant, that is reverse characteristics, right? So if you observe this reverse characteristics and if you remember the diode reverse characteristics, which is very similar, just the reverse breakdown voltage rating is very large as compared to the diode, right? But the device never conducts in reverse bias condition. If you see this graph, a leakage, reverse leakage current flow through the device, which is very small, right? Again, this current maybe flows through the device due to minority charge carriers. If you further increase the reverse voltage at a particular value of voltage called as reverse breakdown, after that the junction J1 and J3 break down and your device that time called as a burnout, and then a large amount of current flow through the device. So this graph shown. Okay, so this is a reverse characteristics and first quadrant forward characteristics. Some terms are given here, that is IL, IH, forward breakover voltage, reverse breakdown voltage. So the definitions are given here. In the last lecture, I have shown you the definition of holding current. From the notes, the same definition is written here for your reference. It is that value of current below which the SCR switches from conduction state to the forward blocking state. Which is a forward blocking state? So this is a forward blocking state, right? If you see the current, which is equal to ideally zero, practically a very small current. So this region is called as a forward blocking region. You just see the cursor. So it shows which region is called forward blocking. So the voltage, as you increase VAK, the current is ideally zero, but practically a small amount of current flows due to the minority charge carriers, and that current is called as a forward leakage current. So this region is called forward blocking region. Okay, so holding current is a value of current which the SCR switches from conduction state. Actually, holding current is a minimum current which hold the SCR in on state. If you reduce the current below the holding current, then your device goes from on state to forward blocking state. That current is called as a holding current. Holding current is always less than latching current. Okay, when latching current, this is the minimum current flowing from anode to cathode when SCR goes from off to on state and remains in on state even after gate bias is removed. So as we already discussed about that, the SCR is a latching device. Latching device, it means once it turns on, it remains on whatever the gate voltage is present or absent, it remains on. That's why it is called as a latching device. One latch into the on state, it remains on until and unless you get you apply the reverse voltage or you reduce the forward current to the zero, it remains on. So latching current is a minimum current which flow through the SCR, right? After which, if you remove the gate bias, it remains in a on state. So that is called as a latching current. If you see the difference in a latching and holding current is something in milliampere, but holding current is always less than latching current. When forward blocking voltage, the silicon controlled rectifier or SCR is connected such that the anode terminal is made positive with respect to cathode, while gate terminal is kept open. Due to this, a small leakage current flow through the SCR, that is called VBO. So see this one. Again, the diagram, that is VI characteristics of diagram. So this region is called as a forward blocking state. Okay. So next definition, forward blocking voltage, right? Forward. So actually this is a reverse blocking voltage. Same copy केले असल्यामुळे ते वरून बदलायचं राहून गेलं, चेंज करायचं. But it's a reverse blocking voltage. With no gate signal applied, peak reverse blocking voltage is the maximum reverse voltage that can be applied to the anode without causing reverse anode current in excess of specified maximum current. That is basically, I'll again show you this one. The PPT 8 not change. Okay, so this is basically called as a reverse blocking state, right? Where the current is very small, that is a reverse leakage current, and SCR is in maybe in off state, but not burnout, not maybe a damage. So that region is called as a reverse blocking voltage. But if you increase further, that is greater than a reverse breakdown voltage, then your device get damaged permanently. Okay, so that is called forward breakover voltage and peak reverse voltage or reverse breakdown voltage. These are the two voltages Still, I think PPT in front of you. Okay. So forward breakover voltage and peak reverse voltage. So these are the additional two definitions. Now, the important part that is called transistor analogy. As already discussed in a first, maybe previous lecture of SCR. Uh, Basically, this 4 PN layer, if you divide in such a way that, see the figure in front of you. So it shows like a two transistor. One is PNP transistor and second is NPN transistor, right? So middle two layer, NP layer, is common for both transistor. So equivalent circuit for that is shown here. That is third one, PNP transistor and NPN transistor. Okay, so before that, I'll just explain you what is a regenerative feedback in SCR. That is most important again. So actually what happens exactly in SCR, when I explain you the working of SCR, that time I told you with the positive gate bias, number of holes in a P region increases. Due to that, junction J2 become a forward bias and SCR turns on. Okay, so this is very good for understanding, but exactly what happens inside the SCR that we can understand with the help of this transistor analogy. Okay, so this transistor analogy exactly explain what is a regenerative feedback, and actually because of regenerative feedback SCR turns on, right? I'll share you one video after this lecture. So in that video, you will see why basically SCR is developed if BJT or other devices are present, right? If you see BJT, a power BJT, or maybe a MOSFET, or maybe a IGBT, right? So IGBT and MOSFET already we learned. So in which the current through that device is controlled with the help of gate, right? But gate should be present regularly or permanently, right? If you remove the gate, your device immediately turns off. In a previous section, MOSFET and IGBT. But continuously current provided to the gate, definitely it's a not good, because it's a power consuming process. So the third device called maybe a SCR, that is developed by the maybe a developers, in which once device turns on, after that if you remove the gate voltage, it remains turns on, right? So there is no need to apply continuous gate voltage to the SCR. And that video I'll share with you after this lecture, and the PPT of SCR. If SCR is over after this lecture, then I will share you. The notes of a first unit already I shared with you on a WhatsApp. So you have maybe a handwritten notes of a first unit, right? Then the regenerative feedback, we are talking about that. Regenerative feedback. What is a regenerative feedback? So just see the diagram, that is transistor analogy. So if you see here, there are two transistor, PNP transistor. Second figure, just observe second figure. PNP transistor and NPN transistor, right? This is called anode. See, terminals are given anode, gate, and cathode, right? The gate current IG, anode current IA, and the current through the cathode is IA plus IG. That is also shown, right? So okay, so what is the regenerative action exactly, and what happens inside the SCR? So that after application of gate, after the application of gate voltage, what exactly happens inside the SCR, so that SCR turns on? That we have to see here. So see, anode voltage is applied with respect to cathode, say 5 to 10 volt, any voltage, say assume 10 volt, right? And if you apply gate current, IG, maybe something in milliampere, okay? So this Ig is applied to the base of transistor 2, that is NPN transistor. Transistor TR1 and TR2 as shown here. TR1 is a PNP and TR2 is a NPN transistor. So some current is applied to the gate of SCR. It means base current of a transistor 2, right? Ig nothing but the IB of transistor 2. So Ig is equal to IB2, right? So if IB2 is applied to the base of transistor, this IC2, the collector current of a transistor 2, is nothing but the beta into IB, right? So definitely this IC depends upon the beta of a transistor. Just see the equations are given in terms of alpha. So IC equal to alpha IE plus ICBO, right? This is basically a collector current of transistor in common base configuration, right? So IC equal to alpha IE plus ICBO. ICBO is nothing but a leakage current, right? So any collector current is the current due to injected electrons plus the current due to minority charge carriers. That is called ICBO, right? So total collector current IC is the injected electrons or current due to injected electrons plus current due to the minority charge carriers, right? So IC equal to alpha I plus ICBO. Now for transistor 1. So transistor 1, it's a TR1, right? So this transistor IC1, that is a collector current of a transistor 1, nothing but your IA, right? So IC1 equal to alpha 1 into IE1 plus ICBO1, right? Now IE1 equal to IA, that is shown here. IE means emitter of transistor T1 is nothing but the emitter current, anode current IA. Okay. So IC1 equal to alpha 1 IA, that is IE replaced with IA, plus ICBO1. Okay. For transistor 2, IC2 equal to alpha 2 into IE2 plus ICBO2. This IE2 is nothing but I, right? And IK equal to I plus I, that is a cathode current, IA plus IE, or IA plus you can say IG, right? So therefore IC2 equal to alpha 2 IA plus IG plus IGBO2. That already shown here. IA plus IG. Okay. So IA plus IG, that is shown here. Okay. So total current is equal to IC1 plus IC2. Now I'll just explain you with the help of this figure, that equations already given to you, and you might have learned this common emitter, common base configurations in our EDC, so we can easily understand. But I just want to explain you here with the help of this figure. See the gate current IG, nothing but the base current of transistor T2, right? So you can say IG equal to IB2, right? Now IC2 equal to beta into IB2. IB2 into beta, say IB1 or IB2 equal to, assume 1 milliampere, that is IG, or IB2 equal to 1 milliampere, and beta is equal to 10, right? So IC2 equal to 1 into 10, that is a 10 milliampere. This 10 milliampere nothing but the IB1, right? So IB1 is a 10 milliampere. Again, if the beta is 10, we are assuming that beta is a 10. So beta is a 10, IB1 is equal to 10. So IC1 equal to beta into IB1. It means that 10 into 10, 100. So IC1 is 100. This is again applied back to the base of transistor T2. Initially, the base current of T2 is 1 milliampere, But after one cycle, the base current of transistor T2 is equal to 100 milliampere, right? Again, this 100 milliampere applied to the base of transistor T2 into beta 110, so it is 1000. So IC2 equal to 1000. This 1000 again applied to the base of transistor 1, and this 1000 into again a beta of transistor 110, that is equal to 10,000. So 10,000 is the new base current of transistor T2. So exactly what happens, the base current of one transistor is a collector current of another transistor, right? So in this way, the base current of a transistor T2 increases, which will turn on the transistor T2 completely. Automatically transistor T1 also turn on completely. And once these two transistor turns on, then if you remove the gate, still this transistor is continuously on. Why? Because the collector current is the base current of transistor. See, collector current of T2 transistor is a base current of T1 transistor. And collector current of transistor T1 is a base current of transistor T2, right? So this will continuously apply, and these two transistors remains in on state even if you remove the gate bias. And this is called as a regenerative feedback. Collector current, or you can say output current of one transistor, is applied to the input current of another transistor, and output current of transistor 1 is applied as a input current of transistor T2. T2 output current as an input current to the T1, and T1 output current as an input current to the T2. So this cycle continuously runs, and this will keep these two transistors continuously on even after gate bias is removed. If you remove gate bias, till your device turns, maybe in a on state. So this is called regenerative feedback. Okay. So if you are having any doubt, I'll share you one video with you. Video is present here, but it take more time. So we'll go for the next PPT. Okay. That is the switching characteristics of SCR. I'll share you the video on VI characteristics of SCR, then transistor analogy of SCR, and even working of SCR. So I have some animated videos so that you can easily understand what is the exactly we learn in this lecture. Okay. So switching characteristics of SCR is again most important. This is handwritten, which is present even your notes, right? And I have one additional from I got from internet. So I'll explain both, right? So first we will see whatever present with your notes. So in this particular graph, if you see that the first figure is a gate signal, right? So gate IG, which is applied at t equal to 0. Okay, gate IG is applied at t equal to 0. Then what happens? The anode current IA is still 0. If you see here, it is still 0 for some time. This time is again required to charge the capacitances. Capacitance means the depletion region, right? Normally depletion regions are the empty regions. It means there is no free electrons or holes present in a depletion region. So with the application of a gate current, some time is required to flow the anode current. That time due to the charging of junction capacitances, right? So till that, the anode to cathode voltage is equal to applied voltage, right? So this time basically called as a TD on, delay on time. See, this is time required for regenerative action. Time required for regenerative action, that is given in your notes. Okay, or you can say the time required to charge the junction capacitances. After that, your anode current start to increase, right? Anode current start to increase. At the same time, anode to cathode voltage start to drop. right? As we know that already we learned the characteristics of SCR, VI characteristics of SCR. If you see that once SCR turns on, the voltage across SCR drop to the on state voltage, that is equal to 1 volt, right? So in this particular graph, if you see, the anode current start to increase. At the same time, the anode to cathode voltage decreases, right? So this time is called as a TR, rise time. The definition is given here. Rise time, with the application of gate current, the large excess carrier density is built up near the gate. Then this spread laterally until the entire cross-sectional area of SCR field with the excess carrier. See, rise time, it means when you apply the gate voltage, some time is required to flow the anode current, that is called delay time. So that is the time required for regenerative action. And after that, the excess charge carrier fields inside the P regions, right? And which will require some time. Then anode current rises at a rate of di by dt. This rate is large enough so that the anode current reaches its steady state value I0. Within a short time, this time is called as a rise time. Okay. And then last one is a plasma spreading time. The time required for a plasma to spread from the region around the gate to the entire device cross section is the plasma spreading time. T on equal to TD plus TR plus TPS. That is not shown here in most of the book. The TD on is equal to only TD plus TR. But in few books, this T on is also depends on TPS. So what is the TPS? This is called TPS, right? TD on plus TR, and then this is a TPS. See the cursor position in a graph. This is called a TPS. Okay. So this is a complete turn on time. If you see, after this plasma spreading time, the voltage across the device is equal to on state voltage drop, which is normally 1 volt, and anode current is a constant current, right? So this is a on characteristics. So total T on equal to TD on plus TR. Normally only these two are considered because anode voltage is almost equal to 1 volt after TR, but still some time required to decrease the voltage equal to onset voltage. So that time is called as the plasma spreading time. But anode current after TR, anode current become a constant. So this is called a complete on condition of SCR. So you can say T on equal to TD on plus TR. That is also sufficient. Then switching characteristics, that is turn off characteristics. This characteristics may require some time because it is again most important. But I'll just explain you because we have maybe a 5 minutes, so we can explain this VI characteristics of turn off characteristics of SCR. So I'll just explain you. See what happens if gate bias is removed. Again, we'll see this one. At this particular position, the gate bias is removed. Okay, and gate bias is removed, or you can say the voltage is reversed. See that this is most important part actually, that is turn off characteristics of SCR. So SCR once turns on, it remains on, right? And that is a latching device. The property of SCR is a latching device. So how the SCR turns off? So there are two methods. One is called natural commutation, another is called as a force commutation. So commutation, it means turn off SCR. So natural commutation means what? The SCR is a unidirectional device. So if you are applying positive voltage or maybe a positive half cycle, it remains on till 180 degree. After 180 degree, your cycle get reversed. So automatically SCR turns off. That is called as a natural commutation. If you are applying alternating current to the SCR, so during positive half cycle, the SCR is on, but during negative half cycle, due to the negative voltage, it means the anode voltage is negative with respect to cathode, the SCR remains off. Okay, so SCR turns off with a natural reverse voltage. Okay, so natural reverse voltage, if you apply a voltage to the SCR, that is a reverse voltage to the SCR, then your SCR turns off. Okay, so that is called as a natural commutation. And another method is force commutation, in which the anode current is reduced to zero, or by applying sudden reverse voltage across the device is called as a force commutation. Okay, so these are method actually to turn off the SCR. There are again various methods to turn off the SCR, that is commutation, force commutation methods, but that is not a part of your syllabus and we'll not discuss here. It required more than 2-3 hours to explain the different types of commutation methods. So anode current, see what happens if you apply reverse voltage. We are considering that the reverse voltage is applied across the SCR, so that you can understand, otherwise it is difficult to understand the turn off characteristics. Okay, so we are considering that a natural commutation, so reverse voltage is applied across the SCR. So what happens, the anode current start to decrease, right? See here, this voltage, second part of the figure, uh, when anode current is flowing at this instant 0, the voltage applied across the anode to cathode with respect to cathode is reverse, but still anode current flow through the device. Because of that, the voltage across SCR is still equal to on state voltage drop. Okay, but at this position your current decreases and then it suddenly decreases, and if you see that the current goes into the negative direction. Why this happens? That is called reverse recovery time. It is a time required for minority carriers to recombine with the opposite charges and to be neutralized. It is the time from zero crossover point of SCR current to 25% of a peak reverse recovery current. So this one is a peak reverse recovery current and this is 25%. If you see at time t3 it overs, so that is called basically a 25%. Basically what happens when reverse voltage is applied, whatever the junction capacitance is stored the charge, it requires some time to remove that charge, right? So that charge removes, so that is your maybe basically called as a turn off delay time. But whenever the charge is removed, then the time required to recombine with the opposite polarity of charges, then automatically what happens, the free holes and electrons which are present in a depletion region, they travel in opposite direction and recombine with the opposite charges, so that the reverse current increases suddenly or maybe a fastly, and that current sometimes may be a negative current or it reaches to the peak negative current called as IR.